Sir, may I come in?
Please come, Rishabh.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
So, Rishabh, tell us about yourself, your academic qualifications,
Yes, sir.
graduation onwards, your
Sir,
work experience,
Yes.
you have, I think, worked somewhere, and your main hobbies.
Sir, as mentioned in my DAF, my name is RISHABH HANS. I did my graduation from IIT Roorkee in 2018. Later, I worked in Jindal Stainless Limited for 9 months in Hisar. And after that, I resigned from my job and started preparing for civil services full time. And few of my hobbies are trekking, hiking, and watching documentaries on Indian tribes.
So, Rishabh, what attracted you to the civil services, leaving back all that you had done as a technocrat and industrial engineering and then Jindal?
Sir, during my college years, I was involved in several group activities, and there I recognized that few of my personality traits are suitable for this civil services. And at the same time, I came in contact with few of my seniors who cracked this exam, and after personal reflection on that, I decided to sit for this exam.
So what are those traits, Rishabh, that you discovered in yourself at that stage?
Yes, sir. Sir, firstly, the leadership skills, and having the potential to work in patience, perseverance. So these traits I discovered in myself.
You are from UP.
Yes, sir.
Uttar Pradesh has had elections lately,
Yes, sir.
and it has been analyzed, and some data has appeared that 50% of the elected members in the assembly of UP have criminal records.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me one single way by which we can reduce the number of elected representatives with criminal record in assemblies or parliament.
Yes, sir. Sir, in my opinion, the first thing should be the we need to focus on the inner party democracy.
Okay, I'll refer to I just wanted one. Let me just give you an idea. Today, it's only when conviction happens that somebody is debarred from contesting an election. Can this be changed?
Sir, currently, if a person is convicted for two or more years, then he is debarred for 6 years. He or she is debarred for 6 years from fighting elections.
Suppose, let me give an idea. I basically want to have your view. Suppose instead of the conviction stage, at the stage of framing charges by the court, that the debarment happens, will it make any change?
So, framing charges on?
Framing charges against the person in the court. There's a stage of FIR and then investigation, then the matter goes to the court, and the court frames charges. Can it be made earlier, like the debarment stage can be brought forward instead of only when it is a case of conviction that the debarment starts?
It is basically due to maybe the slow judicial process. So maybe some judicial reforms.
Let's not go into that. You have mentioned that you have watched documentaries on Indian tribes.
Yes, sir.
So tell me what are the specific action points at the level of the union government for tribal welfare?
So first of all, the government follows a policy of tribal panchsheel, means development of the tribals in their own genus, in their own cultural setup. So this is the one priority area of government of India, and secondly, to develop their skills so that they can have employment in their own cultural setup. For instance, recently a very renowned schemes named as TriFed. Through TriFed, the tribals can use their minor forest produce and innovate them and send into the markets. So this enhance their livelihood. So this is also the focus area of the current government. So I think these are the two areas.
All right. Rishabh, my next question is, you have worked with Jindal
Yes, sir.
Steels, right?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, it is a feeling that the country which consumes the steel most could be one of the most developed.
Yes, sir.
Tell me why.
Sir, because steel is the very basic requirement of all the infrastructure projects. For instance, the railway, bridges, and tunnels. So, and in every infrastructure project, there is an involvement of steel there. So, as the consumption per capita consumption of steel rises, the naturally the economic growth of the country can be seen there.
Any idea which countries have the very high steel consumption?
Yes, sir. Sir, it is China, I think. I think India is 45 kg per capita, and China is 250 kg per capita.
Okay. Vikram Singh?
Thank you, sir.
Richard, please tell me, can you name a few tribals that are found in Uttar Pradesh?
Yes, sir.
Name them.
Sir, one of the tribe is 𝐲𝐵 tribe. They are found in the Sonbhadra district of Uttar Pradesh, and some
There are so many. Go ahead and name them. Yes.
the Gonds are also found, but they are found in very limited numbers.
Numbers, yes.
And there's a tribal name named as 𝐻𝐸𝐷𝐷𝐵. I'm not able to pronounce it correctly. 𝐻𝐸𝐷𝐵 tribal group.
Are you referring to Tharus? Tharus?
Yes, sir. I think.
ठीक है. Tharus are there.
Yes.
And there are allied tribals also who live along with the Tharus.
Sir,
Okay, never
I'm
mind.
not able to recall.
Buksas. Have you heard of the Buksas?
Buksas.
Okay, we'll come to another fact, a very important facet of tribals, that they live in harmony with the ecosystem and preserve the flora and the fauna wherever they live.
Yes, sir.
You must have heard them.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me in what way they promote the preservation of the flora and fauna where they stay?
Yes, sir. Sir, tribal has a tribal. The living of tribal is very in close harmony with the forests. For instance, if I am able to recall one of the instance of the tribal groups named as Maldharis in Gujarat. So, using the knowledge of tribal group, the preservation of the Asiatic lion was done in Gujarat very successfully. So, this is one of the instances that I am able to recall. And other than that, there is a tribal group named as Andamanese Islanders. So, during tsunami, when tsunami happened in 2004, so using their traditional knowledge, the loss was very minimal due to tsunamis in their habitat.
Could you also shed some light on the tremendous knowledge of herbal medicine of the tribals, which is being patronized in a big manner by the Ayurveda today?
Yes, sir. They also had very enormous knowledge on the.
Can you name a particular herbs which the tribals used and they have been adapted in a big way in Ayurveda, or I would say even in the traditional Western medicine also?
Ashwagandha is one of
You're
the
right.
medicine.
You're absolutely right.
And there's one medicine named as solo plant. So it is used in Ladakh, but I'm not sure it is involved in Ayurveda or not.
Okay, we'll come to the next point, Rishabh. Now, what were your job responsibilities in Jindal Steel?
Yes, sir. Sir, I worked there for 9 months. For the initial 6 months, I was graduate engineer trainee, and after that, I was allocated operation cell there. So I was allocated few projects there, and in that projects, I have to look into the efficiencies and suggest some measures that can improve the process operations.
Very good. Now, there's a particular statute law,
Yes, sir.
prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces.
Yes, sir.
Prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces. Were they in position or they were not in position?
In Jindal?
Yes, in Jindal.
Yes, sir. It is there.
So, what are the provisions and what are the precautions that one has to take, and you as a man, gentleman, in a supervisory level, that you should take and faithfully enforce the provisions of prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces?
So there was an internal inquiry committee in in every workplace that takes care of any of the complaints if coming related to sexual harassment. So any of the lady member, if faces any of the such complaints, they can complain in the internal inquiry committee there. So this is one of the provision.
And there are certain do's and don'ts that are prescribed for every member of the workforce, that this is what one can do and this is what one cannot do. I hope the do's and don'ts were circulated all over.
Yes, sir.
Were you privy to it?
Sir, I'm not able to recall exact do's and don'ts.
That is one thing you should never forget. Okay, we'll come to the next point. As a supervisory officer, you find that the workload is too much. Redressal of grievance system is not very appropriate and there is a level of demotivation. How will you set the motivation level in order and tone it up?
Yes, sir. Sir, in this case, I will firstly aware the people with respect to the goals of the organization. So I enable them to see the vision of the organization from their own eyes, and so.
Okay, my last question to you is, for background of engineering, I would like that in a Naxal area, you have multiple vehicles, trucks, personal carriers, buses. What mechanism would you suggest to make them, protect them against IED blasts and firing from powerful weapons like the light machine guns? What kind of armor plating would you suggest, or what mechanism would you suggest to make them at least 50% impervious to IED blasts, gelatin blasts, and heavy caliber fires? Do you have any idea?
Using
Armor plating, no rocket science, only the very basic good old armor plating.
sorry, sir, I'm not able to.
Okay, never mind. Thank you. Shantan?
I'm saying that you had gone to Nepal following the earthquake, no?
Yes, sir.
You went there?
No, sir, I did not went there.
You didn't go there,
Yeah.
but you studied.
Sir, I didn't study there. I actually did a collection drive, the funds collection drive
That's
in my
right,
society.
That's right. Mass relief funds for Nepal. So you, without going there, you collected here
Yes, sir.
within India.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what was it your interest for collection of funds? Is for a social service cause, or as a structural engineer, civil engineer, you wanted to study whether it was the seismic effects or anything that inspired you to do? Have you understood my question?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you know,
So
if
it was
that is
actually-
closer to your subject and there is a calamity or an earthquake, so studies, and I think Roorkee has been studying about the earthquakes and tectonic plates and everything. Did that, or you were driven by some social service drive that you wanted to collect money for the victims?
Sir, it was more of a drive, and it was an initiative of few of my friends and my neighbors. So it was in that regard.
Okay. Tell me that there are a lot of questions on tribes when you are. Your father, according to your CV, belongs to 𝐂𝐨𝐿. You were born in 𝐅𝐅𝐿. These places have no tribe. It is seldom seen that a person, there is no bar, a person belonging to the plains evincing interest in the tribal. So what was it? Some childhood storybook, your friends that interested you in to pursue tribal knowledge?
Sir, so actually, when I was started preparing for civil services, I was looking for some optionals, which optional to take, and few of my seniors suggested that you can go for anthropology optional subject, and before going for anthropology, you can watch some of the documentary videos on tribals, and after that you can decide whether you want to go for anthropology or not. So I went there and I watched some videos and I got interested in those videos
When there means where?
on YouTube channels.
Okay.
So from then I developed interest in watching documentaries on tribes.
So you named several tribals, say one in Sonbhadra, Andaman Nicobar, you said something I overheard. So were you able to go to see the tribals yourself somewhere? Say in Andaman, there was a case 2-3 years ago when a foreigner was shot by an arrow, never recovered, never found, something like that. What is the tribe known as? What is the group known as? The tribe. Andaman you mentioned.
Sir.
You know about this case, no?
Yes,
It was all over.
It is the tribe named is I think Sentinelese tribe. The Sentinelese tribe in Andaman Nicobar Islands.
So have you ever seen any YouTube on them, or do you know about them? No.
Yes, sir. They are one of the PVTGs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups of India, Sentinelese. So they are mainly concentrated in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and so they are primarily based on very primitive economic system, hunting and gathering. So this is.
So last question, you are a district magistrate at a place, and suppose you are asked by your officers, the appointing authorities, or all those who allot you, that your first district we would like to post you to a district full of tribals. So you get Gujarat cadre, so you are sent to some place, you mentioned Malahari tribes and all. In Kutch, I think, Sasangir. So you go there. So would you have a preference to serve a district, first district where tribals are there, or any other district where challenges are much more, say from law and order point of view, from crime point of view? Because what I gathered was, for my clarification, that you, because your friends advised you that anthropology is a good subject, and that prompted you to study. So it's more for career prospects that you took. Didn't it come naturally to you to look for tribals, or you feel something to do betterment for them?
Sir, when I started watching the documentary videos, I came to know what is the importance of the cultural setup of tribal and why there is a need to preserve that culture within their boundaries. Like for instance, there's a 5th schedule, 6th schedule areas. So I came to know about the importance about those areas. So after that, I naturally started developing interest in.
Okay,
tribes.
thank you. General sir.
Have you heard the term conflict of interest?
Yes, sir.
What does it mean?
Sir, whenever there's a conflict between two maybe public interest, two interest of a person, whenever there's a conflict between that those two.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, sir. Sir, for instance, personal interest and professional interest. So maybe if there's a conflict between those two, there's a conflict of interest.
What do you understand by corporate social responsibility?
The corporate social responsibility, it means that all the companies has to spend 2% of their profits in some social works.
What is the difference between an intern and an apprentice?
Sir,
You are an engineering student,
yes, sir.
so there is internship associated, also apprentice. Is there any difference, or the two terms can be used for the same purpose?
Sir, internship is mainly based on having some projects, doing some projects in an organization, and apprentice is it is related to training, learning the equipments. And
What is the term social impact assessment used for?
sir, it is related to if any policy or law, what has its social implications on society. So that assessment is maybe related to social impact assessment.
Have you heard about Administrative Reforms Commission?
Yes, sir.
What was it? What is it?
So there were two administrative reforms commission. First came in 1966 and second came in 2007, and they proposed administrative reforms in various domains. Um, so
Can you recount any major changes that took place because of administrative reforms?
I'm not able to recall.
Okay.
You are from Uttar Pradesh, right? So, I would like to know your view on Population Control Bill of Uttar Pradesh.
Sir, the population population control is very necessary, as the population of the northern and northern states like Uttar Pradesh is rising very rapidly. The TFR rate is already 2.7, but the recent National Family Health Survey report advocated that the TFR rate is already on a declining trend. So, in that regard, not much strict actions are not required to control the population, because it is still on a declining trend.
What's your take on ambitious target of UP government to achieve $1 trillion economy?
Sir, I think it is very much achievable if the government focus on the industrial sector, the service sector of Uttar Pradesh. For instance, there is a very novel scheme named as One District, One Product. If that is implemented in spirit, then more and more exports can be increased from each of the districts in Uttar Pradesh. So I think it is achievable.
Tell me, is there any difference between a Bitcoin and a cryptocurrency? And what are your views on legalization of cryptocurrency in India?
Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency, and it works on blockchain technology, and there must be some regulation on cryptocurrency, because it has some negative implications, like it can be used in terror financing and tax issues. So there must be some regulations over it.
What impact do you see of Ukraine-Russia war on India?
So, there can be multiple impacts. For instance, there is a supply chain disruption in the oil, on crude oil, and this caused rise in inflation in India, which has crossed 6% recently. So this is one of the impact, and it also push India to it also make difficult for India to have their stand on diplomacy.
So what is this India-Nepal border dispute? Can you throw some light on it?
So there is a river named as Kali River. So that river changes its direction. So changes direction frequently. So there is a dispute there is a dispute between India and Nepal on the Kali River.
Okay. There are few more districts which are in Uttarakhand, and Nepal claims to have it in their own territory. Are you aware of it?
In Uttarakhand, sir, Limpiadhura is one place I am able to recall.
Okay. Nepal released a political map and India rejected its claim.
Yes, sir.
So are you aware of the issue?
Yes, sir.
So is it solved? What's the latest on it?
Sir, India rejected that map, and it is, I think, accepted by Nepal.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Rishabh, last question I would like to ask would be from a topic which you will choose. Your own choice.
Sir, my hobby,
Which hobby should I pick up?
trekking and hiking.
Sorry?
Trekking and hiking.
Trekking. Okay. So, you have a foreigner, friend who loves trekking and hiking. Which states in India you would recommend for trekking?
Sir, I will recommend.
High mountain trekking.
Sir, I will recommend Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and these two regions, and Bangalore also.
And
Bangalore.
okay. So thank you, Rishabh.